Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, peoples. Happy Wednesday to you guys. Hopefully you're having a great last week of June. Now, speaking on this topic, or before I go into this topic, like always, guys, if you could subscribe to this podcast, it will take you no longer than 5 seconds. All you have to do, whether you're listening to us on the preferred app of your choice, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Audible, anything like that, or you're watching us on YouTube, there's a little subscribe button. And if you could press it, that'll make sure that you get notified when we drop a new episode, and it'll help us boost up the charts as well. Now, today, with it being the last week in June, and next week starting the first week in July, and one of the biggest party holidays of the year is coming up, the 4th of July. So this is going to be kind of a booze, alcohol 101 talk on what it does to your body, what to avoid if you are going to have a couple drinks on the 4th, to make sure that on July 5th, you're not like, oh my gosh, I completely messed up everything. Now, before we get into talking about the individual kinds of choices that you can make, I want to talk to you about what it actually does to your body. So what you've learned probably through this podcast is our body is meant to burn off fat and calories as a fuel source, which is a good thing, right? It gives us energy, and it keeps us lean and in shape. And as long as you're an active individual and you don't eat a ton of calories, you will begin to lose weight. Now, the kicker is the minute we start to introduce alcohol into our body has to turn off the focus on burning off fat and calories and go, I just ingested some kind of toxic chemical, so let's put the burning off of the fat and calories on hold, and we have to put our attention on metabolizing this alcohol so I don't become toxic and I end up croaking. And depending on how good of a time you have, this process could take an hour or two, or it could take 6 hours or 12 hours. But meanwhile, all that hard work that you did over the course of the week gets put to a standstill because your body's trying to metabolize alcohol. Now, with that being said, everybody wants to know like the magic formula where they're like, what can I drink and not gain a pound? You know, I don't want you guys to think this episode is like okay, you can go do this. The preferred number, if you're trying to get in shape, of drinks or booze is always going to be 0, right? In terms of your health, in terms of getting in shape, in terms of being a healthy individual, it's probably one of I shouldn't say one of the worst things, because I'm sure that there's drugs that you could do that are probably worse, but there's no health benefits to it. There is 0 anything that it does that reflects positively with what you're doing inside the gym. So if you think, okay, I have a scapegoat, I can go drink every single night or have a couple drinks, doesn't work like that. Just like we said, guys, if you're constantly, even if you're having a couple drinks a night, if every single night around 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock, your body has to put the brakes on burning off fat and calories, or the dinner that you had to burn off some alcohol, if you do that 5, 6, 7 nights in a row, we tell you guys there's 3,500 calories in a pound. And if you're having a couple drinks that are, let's say, 100 or 200 calories a piece, you multiply that over the course of 6 and 7 days, and you can see how a pound comes on, and then 2 pounds come on. And you're like, well, I'm only having 2 glasses a night, but you're doing it every single night, and that's slowly going to make the scale creep up in the other direction. Papish?
It's beautiful. Beautifully said, beautifully articulated. The 2 columns, right? There's weight loss column, and then there's being healthy. They don't necessarily always combine. They're 2 different things we got to be working on at all times. So, yes, in terms of overall health, unfortunately, alcohol isn't that good for us. Now but red wine has antioxidants, and my grandma drank bourbon every single morning and lived till she was 100. It's like, well, I can give you about 1,000 more examples of people who drank bourbon every morning that did not happen. So congratulations, your grandma was an anomaly. She she made it. But you can go to any place anywhere and see a lot of people who are in a bad way who drink that way every morning. So uh, it's always tongue in cheek, and that's like the overall health. But weight loss, when it comes to people drinking and continuing to see weight loss, you absolutely nailed it, and it's all about calories. But you need to realize what's happening with your metabolism, and the stopping of the fat burning process and all of this stuff, like you said, is once we consume alcohol. Alcohol is a poison. It's not something that we are supposed to be having. That's why we feel loopy and weird. That's why it's fun. That's why we have a manageable amount. That's why when you have too much, bad things happen. Your body shuts off. Literally. You black out. You don't remember
Vomit.
things. You pass out. You throw up. It's to get this poison out of your body. It's what we do. It sucks. It's fun. You think it's fun. I think it's fun. We'll be honest about it. I just went on vacation. I told you I had a minimum of 4 beers for 1 week every single day, and it was fun. Not that I was just like pounding and getting wasted, but Rowan goes down at noon. We're outside at this cabin up north. I'm gonna go sit out on the porch and have a beer.
Ain't nothing else to do.
What else am I gonna do? Talk to my wife? No, yeah, we're gonna go, whatever, and then you go out to dinner and you have a drink or whatever, and so yeah, it's the thought. But getting onto the weight loss thing, yes, there are good versus bad for you. Like if you have like a heavy craft beer all the time, there's a lot of calories in there. It's not, it's but also in the health thing, there might be a lot of more regulated real ingredients. So you're actually having more like realer food, right? Like hops, local source, not processed, not ultra. But so it's like, well, what are we doing here? You wanna be mindful, but the golden rule for weight loss is always calories. So there's a lot of low calorie options. Seltzers now are like 100 calories. Those are good. I'm all on garage beers currently. They're 95 calories, and it's like this nice beer, 4% alcohol. It's like there are a lot of good options. I think Coors Light's like 102 calories or something like that. So, yes, if you're maintaining and managing your calories, there are better options. Basic rule of thumb, which everyone thinks of, is light liquor versus dark liquor. But that's just being mindful of. It doesn't change anything in the health department. It's still adding poison to your body. It still means your body is switching from fat burning mode to alcohol burning mode. And every single night or whenever you have this, everything that your body is working to do to use it as a fuel source, it stops doing it because it's focusing on just literally surviving by getting this through your body because you poisoned yourself, right? So, it's always challenging to think about. And every time we do a challenge, people ask about that. They go, well, if I'm gonna drink, what's the best thing? It's just like, well, I mean, have what you like at this point, because you gotta be mindful. But if you are going on a week vacation and your thought process is, I just don't want to add 20 pounds in this week. I just want to. Then yes, a lower calorie technically would be best for you, best suiting.
Yeah. And usually what I tell people, if you are going to drink, stick with something clear. Where people get into trouble is all like the foo-foo drinks that are multicolored, that have a ton of sugar, syrup, and you combine that with the alcohol and you're like, oh my God, no wonder my stomach is upset or I feel like crap only if I've had 2 of these. And just the calorie bomb in them. Like you're having 1 or 2 of those on top of all the sugar, and it makes you feel like crap. You feel good for a minute, and then you just hit like a downward spiral where your stomach feels upset. So if you are going to drink and you want something as low in calories as humanly possible, in terms of like liquor, guys, something that is just a plain vodka or a plain gin or plain tequila. And one of the biggest, easiest ingredients to add, if you know those like sparkling waters or those LaCroix waters have 0 calories in them, and there's tons of different flavors to them. If I do make a drink, I'll have that, put a little bit of the LaCroix in. I know the LaCroix have 0 calories. The vodka or the gin or the tequila that I picked is usually pretty darn low. I don't know exactly, but it's like under 100 calories a shot, I'm pretty sure. And then it just gives you something to sip on. It has some bubbles, so the carbonation kind of fills up your belly a little bit. But anything that, like the rums, the bourbons, I know they taste delicious sometimes, but it's usually higher in calories. There's usually some sugar involved in the process to sweeten it up a little bit. And if you have too many of those, I'm not an alcohol expert, but they say the darker ones have more impurities in them, which can lead to a greater hangover the next day if you have more than one or two. So you end up feeling like crap as opposed to the lighter stuff. So anything that's like bright blue, bright pink, bright green, try to avoid like the plague. Even in like your wines and stuff like that. People, there's wine people, there's beer people, there's bourbon people, there's like these people that just is their drink of choice. But I know like a lot of the wines, they have a ton of sugar, they have way more calories. And if you're like, okay, well, I had a half a bottle, that adds up pretty darn quick, especially when you're adding in all the extra calories. And then the other thing that goes along with it is the extra eating.
Yeah.
Usually we're not just going like, I'm going to have some drinks and then that's just it. Either during the drinking process or after the drinking process, whether it's the night of or the morning after, people get we get munchy, right? We want some chips, we want some pretzels, we have a dinner. If it's the next morning and you feel like crap, you want to just snack out or binge on just greasy breakfast food. So you're going like, okay, this one moment has turned into this spiral of just a bombardment of calories, all from me taking this one action.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think a lot of times what happens with people is that actually ends up being the more detrimental thing. Getting back to like my last week, if you're just having casual beers throughout the day, guess what I'm not doing throughout the day? I'm not working out, right? And the next morning when I wake up, I'm not working out. If you normally work out and you're drinking every single night, you're going to be way less inclined to wake up in the morning and work out. And if you do muster up the energy and courage really to work out and challenge your body, it's not going to be what it should have been. You're not going to challenge your body as much. You're not going to get the muscle breakdown as much. You're not going to get your heart rate up as much. You're not going to get a good sweat on as much. All of the stuff that you're actually starting to work out to do, which is the fitness, which involves, the fat loss, the muscle gain, all that stuff, you're not even really going to be doing, and you're just more inclined to just overall skip and miss. You're also going to be more dehydrated. You're decreasing the amount of water you're consuming, which means energy is less, which means overall feeling is less, muscle soreness up. It's, you can go on and on and on and on with all of the stuff that you aren't doing just because you're adding the alcohol, right? So I think that's a slippery slope that doesn't necessarily get discussed enough. It's like, okay, well, if you do have drinks tonight, remember that means you're not working out tomorrow. That means your breakfast is going to be horrible tomorrow because, I don't know
You're
about
not waking up and having an apple.
Exactly. You're not going to wake up and just go for the protein shake and some egg whites and go on with your day, go for a nice jog. It's like, no, you're sleeping in longer than you need to. Some of us wake up, get the hair of the dog going just to feel better, depending on how crazy your night is. There's a million and one things, and you go, okay, so if you do wake up and you have a drink right away to feel better, you're not working out that day either. And, that's an extreme example of really having a night. But I don't know. It's that stuff and really just letting your guard down. Like I'll know I'll be very strict on my diet, and I usually don't drink. My rule is I don't drink throughout the week at all. And, on the weekend, if I cut the grass, that figures to work out Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I like having a beer after or during, and that'll turn into two. Or if we're grilling outside, I'll have a couple. But throughout the week, it's just no. And that just works for me. It's just been an easy thing to just go, oh, what day of the week is it? Wednesday, whatever. Not having it. So, and honestly, it just doesn't sound good all that time to me. It's just.
It's a lot less fun when nobody in your house wants to party with you.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
when your kids
it's
are
you.
there and your wife is just sitting on the couch. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, what am I going to drink this for? I'm just wasting it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. That's why I always think that once you get married and have kids, you should just have 2 houses, one with the boys and then one with your family. And anytime you want, I'm sure wives would love this. Anytime you want, you can just go live with the boys. Maybe I'll swing it. I'll just work a little harder, get a little more money, throw together on a nice mortgage somewhere.
You got like 10 dudes just splitting the pot,
Yeah.
a
And it's
couple
just
$100 for everybody, and we
it's
got an escape house.
just an escape house. No, um but the letting the guard down thing, right? If once you start drinking, you're like, oh, those potato chips look good, and you go, oh, I'm actually pretty good Monday through Friday, for example. But now all of a sudden it's Saturday, had a few drinks, I've been good all week. Let's go. Let's have a burger. Let's have some fries. Let's have whatever, pizza. Oh, now it's getting later. Let's order a pizza. And everything, you just become more relaxed. And that's part of the effects of alcohol, and everything is just kind of letting your guard down. But um, as beneficial and positive as I feel like that can be sometimes, depending on the individual, and if you need that little break, and you've been too strict on something and you need kind of to get back to some pleasure, um, more times than not, we don't need it as much as every weekend or whatever. And it can be detrimental if you really have these goals and you've been spinning the tires and you go, I really am good Monday through Friday, but I can't get the scale to budge. It's like, you need to be good Monday through Saturday. Sorry, or Sunday through, or you need to make sure, because even, yes, adding those 2 glasses of wine or those 3 beers or whatever, the bonfire, it's doing more than you think, because of all the stuff that comes with it. It's not even just the alcohol. It's the fact that you're not working out the next day, you're sluggish the next day, your workout 2 days later might be worse depending on how hard you go. And then all the dietary stuff that you're allowing yourself to do, because you go, hey, wheels are off, baby. I was good for 5 days. Now what happens. I'm actually going to take advantage of this time because I know this is my bad time. So I'm just going to shovel in as much crap that I don't usually eat as I can during this window.
Yeah, and you're constantly just ping-ponging between like 2 extremes. Either you're off your diet or you're on your diet, or you're off your diet or you're on your diet. And like you said, even too, with like the bloating and the inflammation, just like we touched on, guys, like alcohol, it's a poison, which is why you get sick if you drink too much of it, which is why our body tries to metabolize it and rid it once it hits our system. But with that, with beer, this never used to happen to me in like my early 20s, but now, like, if I have more than a couple, especially like the big, heavy, like IPAs and things like that, or like the really dark, thick beers, like I can have one and my stomach just goes brr, like it's ridiculous now.
I know, same.
And part of it too, it's like depending on what they brew it with, the gluten in it, the wheat and all that, on top of all the extra calories that you're getting, the next day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, my stomach looks like a beach ball right now. And then the same thing, just having to work your butt off again the next 2 days just to kind of normalize yourself again. A lot of the times it isn't even worth the struggle. So if you are going to drink going into next week, guys, and it is 4th of July, I'm not saying you got to live under a rock or you can't enjoy yourself. Yeah. But people end up beating themselves up on July 5th, on July 6th. So just make sure, if you're going to have some drinks, if it's clear, you're usually in the clear. Mix it with something clear that has 0 calories, 0 sugar, all that stuff. Sip on it and sprinkle in some waters throughout the day. If every 2 or 3 drinks, you can just pound a water bottle, you're not going to get that over the top, oh my God, I don't care anymore feeling, and it's going to help kind of fill up your belly. So you're going to be less snacky. You might just sip on a drink when your belly's full instead of like, knocking them back with the boys, basically. It's just going to kind of slow down that process to where you're like, oh, I didn't need to have 5 or 6 or 7 of these. I'm okay with having 4, and I can still kind of make my conscious choices. And then the next day, you don't feel like crap because you were hydrating along the way. You just don't want to turn it into a complete wheels off marathon, basically.
I wonder, side topic, I wonder if drinking water like that makes you pee more throughout the process, which has anything to do with the flushing out the alcohol. I wonder if that has anything to do with feeling better.
I think it probably has to.
Just a thought.
I forgot who it was. Somebody that I follow made that thing. They go every 2 or 3 drinks. They'll just slam a water.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Oh, it was Kid Rock, of course.
Was it?
I think it
America's
was
sweetheart.
when he was on Theo's podcast. But he
Yeah.
was saying, he's like, yeah, every 2 to 3. Maybe it was like when he's doing a show or something. He's like, he's like, I want to play the long game. And he's like, if I know I'm just sucking these things down, he's like, and you just get regular thirsty. And if all that you're drinking is just beer and beer and beer,
Yeah.
he's like, you're just going to end up taking a nosedive. So he goes, every 2 or 3, I'll slam one water. I might have to go pee. He's like, I might have a little buzz still, but then it just kind of slows down my pace.
It
And
does.
he's like, think of it instead of, if you drink a 6-pack, sprinkling 2 waters in along the way, odds are by the time you finish that 6-pack, your belly's going to be full. You're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like when you are drinking, it's like why when you're younger you can just kind of do whatever you want, and then as you get older, like day drinking is rough because it's like once you stop, once you slow down, it's over. It's over. I was
Yeah.
just listening to a podcast and they were talking about it. It's like, yeah, you used to be able to go hit a nap, wake up, and then go out again. No, absolutely not. Once
You're dehydrated, you got a headache,
no, once
you're cranky.
once you start petering down, like it's one of those things where you're almost on a time. You're like, if I don't get a beer in the next hour, it's done. It's
Yeah.
3 p.m. and it's over. But if
I'm done for the day.
If I can keep a pace on me over the next hour, then I'll still be having a good time. But if I let myself get to the point where the buzz leaves and you're thinking about how shitty you're going to feel, how hungover you're going to feel, you're already starting to feel kind of crappy, it's done. There's no rallying anymore, at least for me.
Well, you're just going to feel twice as worse. You're like, if I'm already cranky and tired right now,
yeah,
if I start back up again, I'm going to feel twice this.
right. But waters and stuff, and there's like liquid IVs, there's different things. You can even just add, a pinch of salt and some lemon juice and water. It tastes almost exactly like a liquid IV. And it's just electrolytes and whatever, and you can just add some of that in there, and you kind of just keep it elongated or whatever. I guess I don't know. To be honest, day drinking and me haven't really been a thing all that much lately, and it's because of that. I was just like, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, well,
there's so much day to go.
The rest of my day, I'm very tired and feel like crap. And then tomorrow, I also feel like crap. I didn't work out. I ate whatever I wanted. I blah, 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 blah. The slippery slope, all the stuff we've said already. So,
true that, baby.
Yeah,
did you watch the game last night?
I did. Somehow, some way, watch the whole thing. I got to say, you might not agree with me. I am annoyed at Connor winning the Conn Smythe Trophy. I don't think he deserved it. Which, well, he did because he apparently set all these records for the finals, and he had a great playoffs, and just for the whole playoffs, he had all these points, and the first person to blah 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 blah. But like, you didn't win the Stanley Cup, and then you just look at Florida and you go, if Bobrovsky is not their goalie, they do not win the Stanley Cup.
No.
So like, what's more deserving of an award? The guy who, if he's not there, they don't win the cup, or the guy because he was there, they won the cup? Because Connor McDavid was there, they got close. But because Bobrovsky was there, Florida won the cup. I don't know. Maybe I just got a soft spot for goalies, but I just don't. It annoyed me when Connor McDavid won. But then, you also do see the stats, and you go, okay, he had one of the best playoffs statistically of all time. And
it just seems like I imagine being in his shoe. He didn't come out to accept it. Did you see?
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean,
no,
what do you do?
It's like, dude, you just lost a heartbreaker in Game 7, and now you want to go smile and take pictures for, like, the MVP award. I would be like, dude, my team is having a mental breakdown in the locker room right now.
This is not the time.
I'm not going out there to accept my trophy when there's 20 guys bawling their eyes out in the locker room.
Right. And to be honest, I don't know if he knows this. He probably doesn't know this, and I don't know this. I'm just being a fan of the game. That's going to be about as close as he gets, in my opinion, because that team is all breaking up. Dreisaitl's got to go, who is like his.
Dude,
like,
he looked horrible.
He was, yeah. I don't know what it was, but he's a great player. I would take him in a heartbeat. There are some Red Wings rumors, which would be sick. But like the whole band is breaking up. Darnell Nurse is getting old. He's going to retire. All the guys, you get a perfect formula and you win. That's why Florida's scary, because they're like young. They remind me much of Detroit Lions, just coming into their own right now.
I know.
So, Florida could be the team for a while. But Edmonton, no, they kind of went all in. They did like the super team thing where they throw all of their money in, and it's like the window is right now to win. And they came close and didn't. And it's going to be a few years before McDavid's back, or it's going to be one of those things where he moves to a different team because he wants to win a cup, which the superstars do. So,
but that's the thing, though. It's hard to build a team around that because you got to give him. I mean, he's the best player in the league, so he deserves to have a fat contract
for sure.
But then
but all the guys
you're tied up. You're like, well, we can't really sign anybody else now.
Because Draisaitl can go make McDavid money somewhere else. Hyman could go make money somewhere else. They got all of these guys and it's just like, yeah, they're in a tough spot. Old Kenny Holland, he went all in and he came up literally a goal short, which is tough. But
I heard a rumor that Boston is trying to get, I guess, Pastrnak and Draisaitl are boys.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's been trying to, like, pull him over to Boston.
God, I hope not.
And I'm like, God damn, I would hate him instantly.
I'm so sick of Boston.
Or the Wingies. We could use him on the wing.
Come on, baby. He'd be great. Instant contenders.
Kaner comes back. We got Draisaitl.
I bet you a guy like that makes Kane come back. Because I don't think he should. But you get a guy, like you got to... Yzerman's got to do something. It's time. He's had the job for like 6 years now. It's time. I mean, it's time.
The one thing, though, that both those teams had, I was thinking, they both got 2 stud goalies that they just play.
Yeah.
Like, instead of us, we're like, we'll ride him for 5 games. Oh, he fell off. Okay, plug in the second guy. We'll put him in for 2, yank him. Okay, put the other guy back in. They just have guys that are like, every day I'm going to do good.
Right. Both teams did it. Edmonton did it. I think they switched goalies. Might have been last series they had a goalie switch, the Vancouver series. And then all of a sudden they just rode that guy into Game 7 of the finals. Bobrovsky, like I said, furthering my point, which is why he should have won the Conn Smythe. It's just like, that's what every single year it's the same no matter what. The Red Wings did it in 2008 with Ozzy and Hasek. 2002 was Hasek. 2008, Hasek started the playoffs, and we were playing Nashville round 1, and Nashville went up 2 games on us or something. We switched to Ozzy, and then we won the whole thing.
Turned it on.
It's just how hockey works. You just get a hot goalie, and the team that gets the hot goalie wins, a.k.a. Sergei Bobrovsky, a.k.a. the Conn Smythe winner.
Did you watch the new season of Shoresy yet?
No. I saw your text with the boys. I didn't see it yet.
I binged it all in half a day. It's so good. The last episode will make you cry. I don't want to spoil it, but so good.
Watch.
They nailed the hockey culture so good. Like the locker room, like the boys, it's perfection.
There's nothing like it. I try to explain it to people. There's nothing like it. I forgot who I was talking to. Oh, I wish I remembered. It was essentially a random guy. It might have been the contractor who came and looked at my house 2 weeks ago. It was somebody like that. Somebody I have no relationship with, but I was just talking. I was like, that's the thing about hockey. And just started talking about the beauty of it. It's like nothing else. I think every single guy every single hockey guy thinks that they're the only hockey guy. Because it's like the least popular of the 4 major sports. So you see anybody on the street, you go, they don't know puck. They don't know hockey. but me, I do. And so then you're around guys in the locker room and you go, these
There's
guys are
more
like,
of me.
it's like this weird psychological thing that happens where hockey guys think they're the only hockey guys. And so I think that's what makes us all, it's a bond like nothing else. I've been in locker rooms, football locker rooms. I know there's bonds there, but hockey's year round. If you're a dog, like, I don't know. There's nothing like the boys.
And they're so nice. Like every time you meet like another hockey guy, it's just instant. Oh, come skate on Sunday with us. Oh,
Yeah,
come
right.
skate on Saturday night with us. And like you met this guy
Right.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and you just go out and skate and then you're done. Like no one cares if you were good, bad, fat, old, slow. Once you're in the locker room, you're just hand sipping on a Labatt and just talking about whatever. Last guy was just talking about art.
Yeah.
Talking about, I got an art studio in my garage. I love art. It's just like, wow, I wasn't expecting this, but
No.
tell
But
me
it's just
about
all walks of life like that. You're like, I would
Yeah.
probably never know you otherwise. Because
Nope.
we're on two completely different wavelengths.
it. Yep. Another kid's playing at Eastern, and he's just sitting there talking, having a beer. Other kid, it's cool. Nothing
It's
like
fun.
it. I'll have to watch it though.
2 thumbs up. But what else, peoples, before we just ramble your ear off about hockey?
We've been talking hockey for
We'll
10
close it out. This is a good one. If you should need anything, especially over 4th of July, if you wake up dehydrated, if you know you're going to have a couple too many drinks, then if you go to core4supplements.com, we have a hydration supplement that you can take either in the middle of the day, before the party starts, during it, or afterwards. I always recommend taking some kind of hydration supplement when the night is over, just to kind of give your body the minerals and what it kind of pees out essentially when you're going to the bathroom all the time. It's fantastic. It helps you feel less groggy in the morning. And it's on our website. If you go to core4supplements.com, like always, if you are watching or listening to the podcast, if you use the code word podcast when you check out, you'll save 10% off your entire order. And if you spend over $100, you get free shipping on all of it directly to your house. So if you want to get a hydration and a whey protein and our energy gummies to kind of get you through the 4th, that's a good combo right there.
Good cocktail.
But that's all, peoples. Grab what you need, core4supplements.com. Other than that, have a great 4th of July. I'm going on vacation.
Or he's going to live it up. Good for you. Enjoy
Somewhat. I got a 17-hour drive. I can't even wrap my head around that length of time in the car.
it. God bless. What do you do? What do the girls do?
I don't know. We got their iPads. We bought like coloring books. I got those. Remember those games we used to play in the car? There was a little like square, and
Like
you would
one?
slide the red thing over. So you had to find like a cow, and when you found the cow, you would slide the red thing over.
Oh my God.
And then you would find like a farm. And it was like a bingo game.
Wow, I have not done that in so long.
Yeah. Found them on Amazon for like $3. And I was like, well, this will keep you guys occupied and just looking out the
Will
window
it?
at least.
That's good. That's a
But
long
we shall
time.
see, people.
We just did 4 hours, and it was like we timed it with nap. So he would sleep like just like an hour and a half. Wasn't even a good nap. So then he was miserable the rest of the day. Whatever. Beside the point. And so after about an hour and a half, we were like, well, we still have 2.5 hours in the car now. What do we do? So we got the phone going, we're playing Bluey and all of this crap. We got music.
Holding it there for like an hour straight. Your arm's killing you.
Yeah, right. Listening to When I'm Older by Olaf over and over and over and over. This is Halloween over and over and over. Halloween never ended in my house. Just so there's going to be no, it's Halloween, fall season for me. It just never stopped. Rowan just loves skeletons all the time. Skeletons and ghosts and Jack Skellington and Sally and
Got
the
yourself
mayor.
an emo baby.
I know. I say the same thing to Chan. I went, just don't be a sad guy. You can like Halloween, but please, I just want you to be a happy little boy. Anyway, yeah, you just run out of stuff to do. So that was 4 hours. I can't imagine 17. God bless you.
We're going to try to go to there's a town in Georgia called Valdasto or Valdaster or something that's like on like the border of Georgia and Florida. So the goal is to make it there. I think it's like 14 hours. And then when we wake up, we'll only have like 3 to get to Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's
man,
the way
alive.
to do it, though. Do a lot and then a little because it makes it more manageable. But man, that 14-hour day, God bless.
Brutal.
You'll have to FaceTime Rowan to kill 30 minutes for the
Oh, we
girls
will.
if they're bored, if they're getting
We got
crazy on you. He's
not
get
a
out of
damn
jail
thing
free
to
card.
do.
Yeah,
The open road and the Demaria family.
there you go.
But that
All
is
right.
all, peoples.
God
Have
bless.
a great day.
Nice
I won't see you
pod.
next week, so have a great 4th. Behave yourselves. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. There's those balloons.
There
And
they are.
Evan, we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, solo next week. Bye-bye.
Adios.